Hey there, I'm Jill Allen, and this is Find Your Fierce, the show designed for women to discover your fierce, unlock an unstoppable mindset, build unbreakable courage, and completely transform how you show up every single day. Each week, I will bring ideas, methods, and strategies that will inspire you to step into your greatness and live life on purpose. Let's be fit, fierce, and unstoppable. Hey there, gang. Welcome to Find Your Fierce. I am Jill Allen, and I'm so excited that you're here with me as we dive into another amazing episode. Episode 173, showing up each week to bring a little fire to your day. And I love this topic. We are talking about sports confidence and mindset hacks to help the athlete, your athlete. So parents, if you have a teen athlete playing and training for a sport, you're going to love this. Share this with them too. Or maybe you're even training for something yourself, whether it's the upcoming backpacker in the White Mountains, or maybe it's a 5K or a marathon, or maybe you do CrossFit or a triathlon, whatever it is, this episode is for you. You might even be a coach, coaching up kids and coaching them to perform at an elite level. This is for you. And the sport hacks that I will be sharing with you today is for any athlete. It's also for life. And here's what I need you to know. Sports confidence is key to any supreme athletic performance, but most athletes don't know how to tap into their most confident athletic self. So we're going to talk about and explore some confidence mistakes that keep athletes from peak performance. And I'm raising my hand over here myself, guys. I have been guilty of making these mistakes. I have been involved in sports for as long as I can remember, biddy leagues to high school teams, continued on running in college, a marathoner, a triathlete for over 25 years, guys. And I still struggle sometimes with this. And now we get to do it all over again, right? We are watching our kids go through these same struggles where they experience, and a lot of you guys are going to be able to relate, where they experience confidence one day, and then the next day they lack it. They lack confidence like every other day. And we're like, they're on this yo-yo, they're on this vicious cycle where they create these mindset habits or mistakes that we fall into naturally as highly driven go-getters that lead to self-doubt and very unhelpful self-pressure. And the more pressure we put on ourselves, the more we underperform. And so I also kind of want to go into some confidence hacks that the top athletes in the world do to train their brains as successfully as they train their bodies. It's just so much more about it's our mindset, right? And our thought process, no matter what circumstances there are going on around us. But before we go any further today, I love that you're here listening in and spending time with me. So honored that I get to be a part of your day. You're all just so amazing. And I thank you for your love and your support. I appreciate your feedback, your reviews. I love that you share this podcast and the Set Fire message with your friends and family. And if you haven't heard, my new book, Set Fire, is out. You can grab a copy on Amazon. It's just so good, especially if you want to fire up your life and ignite a spark of courage in you so you can live your life on purpose. So just thank you. Thank you again for being here. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Are you ready? I know I am, so let's dive in. Let's dive into the mistakes that plague athletes. And here's the thing, these mistakes are not just whoopsie-daisy mistakes. These mistakes rob them of their full potential. I mean, we are going to be diving into the performance pressure hoax. This hoax that you have to take it so serious that you buy into this thinking that you have to take it to this crazy focus level in order for you to be elite. And the dangers of caring too much, right? Sometimes we just have to try to stop trying so hard. So if you ever struggle with that or with trying so hard and caring too much, guys, we can flip that thought process without settling. And then we're going to dive into the trust and mistrust of self in the athlete and how to nurture self-trust for better performance. And we're going to dive into the critical habits of high performance athletes and what they do to actually elevate their confidence. And you're probably wondering, how do I know what they do? I want to start off by saying that I am still learning, as we all should be, right? I'm a work in progress, but I have studied as to what tends to work and what doesn't. I've been in the field. I've practiced it myself. I'm in love with personal growth and development and how the mind works. I've been an athlete my entire life, been a fitness and mindset coach for years, coached high school track, cross country, basketball, coached athletes who have performed at a very high level, teams that have performed at a very high level. And now we have this amazing opportunity to watch our own kids compete and train at various sports, again, at a high level. But we get to see firsthand as to what has worked and what has not worked and how to truly help the athlete to take it up a notch with these hacks. And anyone can do them. Guys, if you have an athlete or a child or teen, or if you're coaching a kid on your team who wants to perform with confidence, or if you're one who wants to train your inner athlete, guys, you're going to just absolutely love these next few minutes. One of my favorite things to do is to watch our kids play a sport that they absolutely love. Houston golfed in high school. He ran cross country and track. Harrison also golfed. He played basketball up until 8th grade. I so wish he would have continued because he was always so scrappy. And I loved how he played defense and competed. He played baseball from 3 years of age all the way up until he graduated. Hayden, he plays basketball and baseball. Again, he's been playing since he was probably 3 or 4. Harper runs cross country. She plays basketball, track, and then she tried golf this year. At the same time, she was running cross country. She plays basketball. She also is in the midst of her track season right now. And so their schedules are definitely full. Okay. We have a competitive family. We just love to compete. We love to play. We love to just, be a part of sports. And when you watch kids play sports that much, and when you're sitting in the bleachers and in the stands for years and hours a day, it is amazing to see the various expectations that are put on the athlete by the parents, by the coaches, their teammates, and then the whole other layer of expectations that the athlete actually puts on themselves, right? It is a lot to take in. And it's like this expectation to achieve, to up level, to be 100% on every second of every game, or at every bat, or every time you're stand at the free throw line or the starting line, or whatever play is going to be happening, right? There's this expectation to run maybe a certain time, or to place in the top tier, or to maximize the points. This expectation to be successful at all costs. And I get it. There's always a certain level of expectation when it comes to life, when it comes to sports. But with these expectations and these over-the-top pressures to achieve and perform at a high level, it can cause some serious self-doubt to creep in, or a lack of belief within, to where they question themselves as an athlete, causing them to never play at their fullest potential. Okay, and that is what breaks my heart. They never play at their fullest potential because they lack the confidence. Now, if you go back to when they were little, and perhaps they had some success before hitting high school years, they might have been super excited to step up to that starting line or to the plate or take it in for a layup because of the confidence they had. But somewhere between then and now, the confidence gets lost, resulting in a plateauing because of self-doubt and overthinking, which is natural, but there is work to be done that can override the pressures and the insecurities of an athlete, which actually can springboard them to playing at their fullest potential, to have a successful career. But when confidence wavers, the fullest potential does not get tapped into. Harper, I got to share this with you because it just paints this picture of what I'm talking about. Harper's naturally a pretty good runner. And we always say that she runs like a gazelle. I mean, she took time off to play basketball over the winter months, not running winter track. So she didn't really have the base like some of the others who did. And so that was always in the back of her mind. But these past few weeks, she looked as if she plateaued, right? She was fighting sinuses big time, which the entire time, even during her events, I'm telling her, girl, you're fine. You've been sick. You're not functioning at your best. You need some rest, drinking your fluids. We just need to get you back on track. And I'd give her a hug after her race where she felt like her legs were 400 pounds each. And she felt cruddy because she maybe let her team down, or, didn't place the way that, she was expected to place for the team. And all I'm telling her, girl, it's good. You'll be fine. And she was talking as if, how is she ever going to break through and run at a top level or set a personal record? How she's ever going to run with the top girls. And here's the thing, she was always holding back a little, saving it for the end, questioning if she can run with the front pack, all the things, okay, all the things that go through athletes' minds, lacking full confidence in her ability, ultimately holding her back from her fullest potential. And I can't even imagine the pressure that she felt, and much of it from her own expectations, guys. But something flipped last week. She busted through and ran the mile with a 16-second PR. Now, as a runner myself, as a coach, guys, I'm here to tell you that is not normal. You don't just go break 16 seconds or, cut 16 seconds off of a mile. And I remember telling her that the day you decide you can run at a high level, the day you believe in yourself, in your gift and your talent, your ability, the day that you believe in your training and your coaches will be the day that you will break through. Well, let me tell you, she started believing, she started speaking it, she began to compete. And what do you know? 16 seconds came off of her mile time. And to think that she's still not even at her fullest potential. But the key point in all of this is that the confidence and the belief is growing and getting there because of the mindset work. And then ultimately, the day that you show up to execute will follow. And there are thousands of stories of athletes just like that, of all the ages, of all levels, of all sports, yet many who never get there because they lack the confidence. They don't have the tools or the skill work or the belief and the support system around them to help them get through and bust through. So what I'm sharing with you, whether again you are competing or not, maybe this is for your own personal fitness goals or specifically for you to help your kids break through. What we are talking about today, you will be able to apply to you and your kids so that you can enjoy the process, to love the process of it all and enjoy the journey of the goals that you have set and who you become through it all and who your kids become through it all. Okay, so let's talk about the performance pressure hoax, where a lot of really driven, determined athletes have this thought. And it's the thought that if I just worked hard and be better, I'll be the best. If I work harder than everyone else, if I will be perfect, or if I am perfect, then I will be the best. No doubt, yes, guys, I'm 100% firm believer, work hard. But double yes to working smart and hard. If I just worked hard, I can be the best. But if I work hard and think well, that is what's going to distinguish you from the rest. I truly believe, and I am so convinced, that if you can take two athletes with identical skills, the same effort level, the exact same talent, the similar abilities, the same training plans, the person who will win, the one who will come out on top, or the one who will outperform on the court or on the field, the person who will win will be the one who thinks they can, the one that thinks they have an edge, the one who has the confidence that they will get it done and show up when it counts. The one who believes they will, not the one who just pushes themselves, not the one who just pushes through, but the one who trusts themselves because they love to compete. They love to train. They know that their value and their worth is not connected to the performance, that they just love the challenge, but they love the sport that they do because they love who they are becoming, that they get to rise up and to these new standards, and it brings the best out in them as a human being, who they could be and who they are. Guys, that is what it's all about. But this performance pressure thing, the reason I say it's a hoax, I say that because there is this mentality to grind it out, all the grit, all the hustle, gut it out. And guys, I am one that can grind and hustle with the best of them, but you don't have to try so hard all the time. I'm all for showing up and believing in that every second, every rep counts, every training session matters. But at the same time, we need to be able to give some space in our minds to relax a little bit. The pressure, which again, much of it is self-induced, it builds up oftentimes because this identity, our identity is wrapped up in the performance. There's this perceived expectation of us that can increase our pressure. Maybe it's the fear of failure or the fear if you let others down or this over-attachment of value to performance, meaning if I do well, then I'm good. If I'm not, then you begin to question, where do I belong? Where you overattach your identity to the sport. And this is interesting. One of the reasons why the pressures increase is sometimes the sport itself becomes this bubble, this idol, where the sport is above everything else. Like it's its own entity. But there's this amplified perspective of the importance of the sport, which what it does is it makes you over-focus. And when you over-focus, it makes you lose the fun. And when you lose the fun, you lose the edge. The truth is, the more fun you have, the better you will do. Hands down. I am a firm believer on that. The more fun you have, the better you do. But with pressure, it's hard to have fun. Here's a little side story. Rob was coaching Hayden's travel baseball team. He coached for years. I mean, and I'm sure you have this image in your head, like those, dad coaches, whatever image that you have, understand that Rob was a little bit different. He was the complete opposite of what you just envisioned when it comes to dads coaching travel baseball. He received some backlash from it, actually, a few times because he didn't seem serious enough. And one of the backlash comments was that the kids were laughing and goofing off in the dugout, and they weren't taking the game serious. Now, we all know the difference between slap happy versus laughing and joking around, okay? But I will always remember this. Rob responded with, if 10-year-old kids can't be laughing in the dugout and hanging out with their boys, having fun, someone is in the sport for the wrong reason. All you have to do is check out the guys in the major league in the dugout, and those guys are having fun and they're laughing and they're grown men, they're adults, they're loving the sport. Sports are to be fun. So again, I can't stress this enough. The more fun you have, the better that you will do. So working smart in a sport means knowing how to train your brain and have fun while also working hard. Working hard in sport means learning how to stretch your belief. Now stick with me. It's important learning to stretch your belief in the capacity of your potential. Not to hope for what you think you can achieve, but really, really believe that you can goal set with this audacious confidence, that you can decide you can do things that you've never done before. I saw this on a t-shirt and I absolutely loved it. It said, never been done before. Man, I loved it. I should go make one actually now that I'm thinking about it. But to think about what seems impossible, but actually possible. Let's go back to the 4-minute mile. No one thought it could be done before it was done. And then once it was done, it happened again and again. We get to decide what barriers we want to break through. Why not lead in your sport by believing what hasn't been done? We have to believe, and that takes risk. We can't believe big or think big unless we think with faith, because faith is activating what we can't see. To have the boldness to believe in something, for it to happen, even though we might not be able to understand how it can be done right now in this moment. This is why I love sport. Anything can happen. You can apply this in every area of your life. Apply it to your parenting, your own personal growth, your marriage, your careers, your academics, whatever it may be. When you speak to the power of believing in your full capacity of what is available to you, when you want to rise up to see what you are capable, what your team is capable of, parents speak into them, coaches speak into them, athletes speak into yourself and into your team. I have stories for days. I have to share this one. Coach K. Kirksell, he is the guys track and field coach here at our high school in Lancaster. He's a legend, one of the all-time greatest coaches. He's a numbers guy. Whether you are the fastest or the slowest runner on the team, he will speak life into that athlete and get them to perform at their highest level, no matter what their times are. And that's what I just absolutely love, because I know what speaking life can do in someone's heart and mind. And after Harper's breakthrough race, the night that she cut 16 seconds off, the night we were walking out, he walked up to her with 100%. He was genuine. He was intentional. And he painted vision for her. Vision beyond what she was even thinking possible. And he spoke this, I see you. These were his exact words. I see you breaking 5 minutes this year. Yep, I see it. Now Harper was like, what? This year? No way. I don't know about that. And he repeated with such strength. He goes, yep, I see it. I think it can be done. One little comment, one little power statement changes everything. She's starting to believe it. She's talking about it. She's speaking it. She's working. She's resting. I mean, everything has changed. Now I get it. There's no guarantee, but anything can happen when you work hard and put the mind behind it. And when you begin to see that you are made for more, it shifts your performance and the way that you show up. When we can share the gift of belief and conviction and confidence to speak this into our kids and into our own inner athlete, confidence begins to grow. With just a couple of words, you can change what people believe about themselves, what you believe about yourself, and what is possible. And to speak that into ourselves and others, guys, it is the most powerful, most epic thing that can totally flip the script when it comes to the mind of an athlete. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the mistrust of self. This is a big one when it comes to self-sabotage. Linking belief to past performances, and then you overplay or overthink and then not trust that you can execute the next time that you're up, right? Let me explain this. There is a big difference between hoping that you will show up and then deciding that you will show up. And in so many ways, it's a decision. Confidence, it is a decision that you will show up as your best. And the more pressure you put on yourself, the less joy you have in your sport. And when you overthink a race or an outcome, you stop trusting yourself. You stop trusting your training. You stop trusting your coach, your teammates, yourself, your mind, and your body. And you go back to, this is really, really important to perform and do well. I have to do this. It goes from, let's see what I can do, to I have to. I have to make this happen, where the fun is gone again and it sets you up to fail. Lack of trust at the end of the day with your coach, your belief, your training, and what is possible for you, it makes performance harder and more complicated. Now, on the flip side, trust, and this is true in any relationship, it makes things light and in flow, where mistrust creates heaviness and sharp edges. Mistrust is like being this hyper-focused on all the past failures and the mindset of really trying to avoid doing them again. It's like you're playing in fear. But an athlete who trusts their gift and trusts their training, who trusts the work ethic and the potential, they embrace the past failures as necessary and isn't afraid to make more. Knowing that failure and the discomfort and the setbacks, that is all part of it, that it paves the way to success. The athlete that achieves the most are the ones who are willing to fail the most. Time and time again, you will come out victorious, period. And when you and your kids can learn to fail and realize that you can recover from it, confidence is going to grow to get back out there and try again. Okay, so what are some of the confidence mistakes athletes make? Well, they compare themselves. If you are comparing yourself, you are cutting your potential off at your knees. They have a fixed mindset that you're not willing to grow and learn. But we have to be open to it, guys. If I say I have potential, that is a fixed mindset. But the growth mindset is I know my potential is even larger than I can imagine. Number 3, trying too hard or not trusting yourself. I've already talked about that, but I had to include that. 4, we overthink. A mistake is also overpressure, overcomplicating. We need to learn to quiet our brain. So we need to get the tools and know that it's never too late to apply these tools. Self-criticism. And it comes out in different ways, right? Maybe some say, I should have done better, or someone gives them a compliment and they shut it down and explain that they could have gone faster, or whatever it may be. Self-criticism is a massive mistake. Also, mismanaged pressure. Not knowing how to talk to the pressure or not knowing how to reframe your thoughts. That's a big mistake. Mental isolation. And what I mean by that is when we assume that no one is thinking about the sport like we do, right? That you convince yourself that you're the only one that struggles, that your teammates are not going through the same stuff, that you're all alone. And if you can be convinced that you are isolated and that you believe that you are alone or have this over-attachment to false identity, that is a red flag. That is a major indicator that it's time to start talking about the mental side of the sport. Another mistake, not having a thought coach, not having a mindset coach. Now, I'm not talking about a sports psychologist. I'm talking about proactive coaching, the daily thoughts, the belief work when it comes to giving yourself an edge. Another mistake is overtraining the body and undertraining the mind. How many hours a week do you or your kids train the bodies? How many on your mind? And what would happen if the mindset would get a daily workout? What would happen to your confidence if you trained your brain? And then there's also the mistake of letting fear of your emotions dictate or allow doubt when it comes to your confidence, right? The fear of pain or the fear of disappointment or the fear of being embarrassed or not being able to maintain or, the fear of coming up short or the fear of failure or the fear of keeping up or the fear of discomfort. That's a mistake that can also be tweaked and flipped. Okay, so let's switch gears here. Let's talk about the habits that high performers do to elevate their confidence. Well, high performers, they warm up their brain. Think about it. If you warm up your body before any workout and competition, guys, it's just as important to warm up your brain. And so how do you do that? Well, you can journal. You can create a new morning routine. You can warm up your brain and get it going with these, you rewire your brain with good and positive thoughts. 2, they get obsessed with excellence in their life. Now, I'm not saying that they get obsessed with perfection, and that's not what I'm talking about. No, there's this strong distinction between excellence and perfection, and what we want is excellence, right? So, for example, excellence is making your bed in the morning or staying on top of your schoolwork. You don't just show up in the sport, you show up in life, in everything you do. That is excellence. They also train their brain as much as they train their body. We mentioned this before, like that focuses on reframing and the affirmations and the visualization. And a lot of us do it backwards. They say, let me see what my body can do, then I will believe it. They also create anchor thoughts. I love this. They create power statements for specific things that you want to agree with, that you want to agree on. What you speak is what you create. Speak it into your life. Anchor it in on a training or performance statement that keeps you anchored back in when the distractions try to steer you in a different direction. And trust me, there's going to be distractions. So we got to have those anchor thoughts. They also work with a mindset coach or a mindset program. It's key. They also read and apply personal development in their life. How many books have you read this year that focuses on growth and perseverance and mindset and overcoming and training your brain? They listen to podcasts that spark their brain, right, to help them become a better version of themselves. They double down on their love for and the passion for their sport. So I have to encourage you, don't ever lose the love for your sport. If you love when the ball hits the bat or the bat hits the ball, however you want to say it, or how the basketball feels in your hands, or the sounds of the pitter patter or the breathing, right behind you of the track, right? Like you hear those things, those sounds. Don't ever lose that love. They also separate their identity from their sports identity. You are not your sport. You can be the runner, you can be the golfer, you can be the baseball player, but that is a part of who you are, not who you are. They also understand the difference between the old version of themselves and the new version of themselves. Think of it as a 1.0 and a 2.0, right? You have a 1.0 version of you, and then you also have a 2.0 version of you. So which one are you showing up as? The old version or the new version? So what happens is when the old version shows up, right, you're not so surprised. And so what you could do is, because you know how to reframe your thoughts and you've worked on your mind, you can escort version 1 out, and 2.0, you can then step in and execute. This one I love. High performers, guys, they think like a goldfish. And what do goldfish do? They forget when things go wrong. They forget past things. They forget the mistakes and the mishaps, right? When things go wrong and all the pain. Every day is a new beginning. They move on. It's a new opportunity. Any game is anyone's. Every day has an opportunity. Someone is confident to create that opportunity. So be a goldfish. They also understand the compound effect, and they trust their training. They understand the behind the scenes of training, that it is making them better, the mindset work, that it is going to pay off, that there's this compound effect of the daily work. High performers understand, or they master, staying in their own lane. They detox their relationships with the comparison and the jealousy. When you do that, you're not worrying about what anyone else is doing. So take full ownership of that. They commit to belief work, and they have this unwavering faith in what they cannot yet see. They believe in the fact that it is accessible to them, that it is possible. You believe you can, or you believe you can't. You are right. I just love that quote. It was up in my Coach by Basketball Coach. He had it like pinned in our locker room, and I absolutely fell in love with it when I was like 15, 16 years old. You achieve in what you believe, so go do the work. So yeah, I am a mindset coach. And if you have an athlete that needs mindset work, reach out to me and we can team up for sure. I know this fired me up. I hope this fired you up. I'm excited to hear all about your personal athletic breakthroughs, how your kids are doing, how their confidence catapults to the next level. So please, please, please keep me posted. Before we wrap this up, there's something about getting outdoors, unplugging, and spending time in nature. Registration for the Trailblazer Challenge is now open, and I am so super excited about it. Come be a trailblazer with us and hike 4,000 minutes in 4 months. Check it out on Hike, Live, Explore on Instagram, and head to JillAllenCoaching.com. I know you don't want to miss it. If you're wanting more fire in your day, there's so much for you to do so. You can join the Just Breathe Facebook group, snag a copy of my new book, Set Fire, that just released, snag it on Amazon. Join us in the adventure of a lifetime this August for the Backpacker. We're hiking the White Mountains, and it's going to be so epic. And maybe you're thinking about doing your own road trip. You can hop in our Sprinter van that sleeps up to 5 and hit the open road. Be sure to go to JillAllenCoaching.com for all updates, as we would love to connect with you. Positive connection is so game-changing. Come back next week. We are going to talk about how to navigate your days when there's no end in sight. I know you're going to love it, as it will help and encourage you to up-level. Thanks so much for joining me today. I pray that I filled your heart with joy. If you could let me know before hopping off here, that would be incredible. Subscribe, share this episode link on your social media if you felt encouraged or inspired, as we all know someone that can benefit. I would love it if you would give some feedback and a review as well. Talk with you next time. Be fit, be fierce, be unstoppable. See ya.